Okay, the AI revolution, how to get AI sorted. So just to confirm, this is aimed at business leaders, CEOs, MDs, founders, etc., board directors, NEDs, chairs. It is not intended as a techie talk, and I will keep to a minimum any jargon. So we're not going to get lost into technology comparisons, data stacks, and the benefits of SQL versus no SQL. If that was lost on you, great, this is where you need to be. So my aim during this session is to be thought-provoking, to prick your curiosity, to get you to ask yourselves, are we ready for AI? Are we really data-driven? And how will we use AI? How will it impact us? During this session, I'd like you to gain a better understanding of the issues and solutions I've experienced with other clients. Many are common in every business. So if anything resonates with you, pop it into chat and I'll cover it now or later. Remember, it is private and it can't be seen by anyone else. Secondly, I want to introduce you to the Intellidat way of getting AI sorted, of being an AI winner. And a hint, it is just not about technology. I apologize in advance. I am very passionate about this topic. So if I start preaching, if I sound like I'm telling you what to do, please bear with me. AI is new and we need to be thinking in new ways. And finally, we're going to have a question session. Pop these into the Q&A rather than the chat. Both, as I say, are confidential. They're only visible to you and me, and neither will appear or on any recording. So I tend to use the chat just to make notes, things that resonate or jar. You can see them, I can see them. I will go through it over the next couple of days, and if there are questions in there, I promise you that I will address them with you. In the next hour, I want to take full advantage of this time, and I want to cover these broad topics. A quick recap of where AI is today, what it is, what does it actually mean to you? What does it mean to be AI ready? I want to introduce you to the concept of intelligent data. What does it really mean to be data-driven? Why does it matter today to take this so seriously? Being data-driven, I think, prepares you to be AI-ready. It helps you to lay down the foundations. Why is there a sense of urgency around this topic today? And money. It's not simply a case of money. If you're thinking we can't afford to do this, the question that you also need to be thinking is, can you afford to ignore it? I want to discuss a vital relationship that I see between people, process, systems, and technology. I call that the culture, a business culture that focuses on the key pillars of information, knowledge, efficiency, risk aversion, and the data that is created and runs throughout your business. Why is it crucial to address this now? Why is it so important to put data at the heart of your digital information strategy? Why should you shift your focus onto data and away from applications, solutions, and even technology? Why should you adopt a data-centric rather than an application-centric mindset? How and where do you start? With the business, by identifying your business needs. And I'll be sharing with you the process and the steps that I've found make sense and achieves the best results. I'll refer to a lot of what I'm talking about as an information strategy. And this is what I call our foundation. It's a framework, it's an essential part of your business strategy. An information strategy underpins that business strategy. If you rely on gut feel and experience to make decisions, maybe backed up by data and reports, today we need to pivot that reliance. We need to rely on our data and back that up by referring to gut feel and experience. This is based on AI pressure. To become data-driven, if you don't agree with your data, don't shrug it off, fix it. Data-driven is a great soundbite, but has it proved easy to deliver? Why is it such an important step? AI, on the other hand, is data insights and actions driven without human curation. You have to get so confident in your data and you have to trust your information before you'll ever really accept AI. It's a cultural change for many businesses. It's not comfortable, but we feel that it must be addressed. If you haven't already, can I please ask you just to quickly open your chat box? Delighted as I am to welcome you here. I'd like to ask, who are you? Why are you here? What is your job title? What single thing are you hoping to get out of this session? Maybe which word encapsulates your mood best around the AI question? Concern or excitement? If I can, I'll temper the webinar when I see things coming in. If I'm struggling looking off to the right, that's because what I'm doing there. I can see one, we're struggling to be data-driven, let alone AI ready. John, you are not alone. Okay, what I will fix on is what you can do to be best prepared, to be ready to recognize what is going on and be ready to take advantage of that in this fast, new, moving environment. And we call that being AI ready. As you'll see, the concepts of data-driven AI ready are very closely linked. They both need the same basics, the same foundations to be in place. So that is where we're going to go. I hope that this resonates with you. that you understand that addressing AI in one way or another is crucial today. Just keep your wallet closed for the time being. First, understand what you need. That is not an excuse to procrastinate. There is a huge sense of urgency around this topic, so don't put it off. Where and how to start, and we're coming to that now. Shortly, I'm going to be going through a quick history of AI and what AI might mean to you. AI will definitely be affecting every part of your business model. It may change that model completely. But where do you start? Yes, you need to understand what AI can do, but you must also know your business, how it works, people, departments, processes, systems, what your data flow looks like, where it comes from, and how usage is related upstream and downstream with every process and every system, every technology. How processes and systems are passed across boundaries between departments, people, technologies. What bit or bits of AI do you need now? What might you be using next, and where and how quickly? What changes will make the biggest differences most quickly? What is the most important part of your business today that needs assistance, and can that come from AI? That is the purpose of an AI strategy. What do we need, where, and first? We'll start with a quick review of AI from the 1600s, believe it or not, through to today. And then we'll move on to the foundations that you need in place, and finally the process of getting there. I'll share a couple of real-life examples on the way, case studies that illustrate the benefits of a methodological approach. Apologies for that. Artificial intelligence, well, it's on everyone's lips and now seen in every technology solution that you open. It's the shiny new toy of modern times. In fact, AI can be traced back several centuries in one form or another. René Descartes in the 17th century exploring animals as machines, and during the 19th and 20th centuries with the development of early calculating machines and automata. The term AI officially dates back to the mid-1950s. A computer scientist, John McCarthy, coined the term in 1955, and the Dartmouth Conference in 1956 laid the foundations for an academic field known as artificial intelligence. Up to the 80s, early developments focused on symbolic reasoning and problem solving using rules and logic. Overhyping, believe it or not, overhyping of AI led to a loss of confidence and investment, and it's known as the AI winter of the 1980s. New techniques became popular, but it was not until the early 2010 and onwards that real progress started to be made. In part, that was driven by the availability of large data sets and increasing computer power. Developments in neural networks, first started in the 1980s and 1990s, achieved success in image recognition and natural language processing, or NLP. OpenAI was founded in 2015 and ChatGPT was launched in 2022. 66 years after the Dartmouth Conference, and all of 1 year ago from today. The rate of change in the past year has been phenomenal, and it's getting faster. Any business leader choosing to ignore the potential impact of AI may well be backing a losing horse. It's not like the choice between Betamax and VHS and waiting to choose the right technology. Today, we've got customer service chatbots, predictive analytics, supply chain optimization, fraud detection, personalized marketing. We have automation of routine tasks, and it's bringing challenges. We're talking about ethics and privacy, and ironically, given the fears over job losses, a lack of humans trained in AI skills. Look at the recent power of the OpenAI engineers, each earning just shy of $1 million a year. They forced their board into a complete U-turn over the business leadership. And what about tomorrow? Integration with other technologies, IoT, blockchain, 5G, NLP leading to improvements in language understanding and generation, healthcare, finance, and autonomous systems. It's all about efficiency, innovation, even completely new business models, and that raises challenges that need careful consideration. The wrong choices will be expensive. However, making no choice, in my opinion, is not a choice at all. To gain a competitive advantage, this is a quote lifted directly from ChatGPT in 2023. I suppose you could say it would say that, wouldn't it? Evolving AI landscape, competitive advantage. And what does that AI landscape look like? It's on everyone's lips, and it's now seen in every technology solution. Is it the shiny new toy? A big mistake is to assume that AI is ChatGPT or ChatGPT is AI. ChatGPT, large language models, generative AI are simply strands of a whole AI topic. Looking for a way to adopt ChatGPT as your AI strategy is akin to focusing your marketing on Facebook only. Facebook is one strand of something called social media marketing, and that is but one strand of marketing. It may have a role and a place in your marketing strategy, but it would be a mistake to call it your marketing strategy. And like the disciplines of marketing, these strands will not operate in isolation. It's likely that you'll be using one or more to achieve your strategic objectives. And where do you need AI today? These are just 12 areas that AI can help your business. They include data, marketing, operations, HR, communications, finance, quality control. We could also include research and business services. What about data mining in documents or document comparison? Who remembers the Panama Papers back in 2016? 11.5 million documents, 2.6 terabytes of data. This volume of data would have overwhelmed any normal human-driven organization. But the team behind that developed systems to read the papers and identify objects, names, dates, businesses, and then create a knowledge graph with links between objects, which recognized where objects with similar names were actually the same. This allowed them to build an automated relationship model that enabled a deep dive into all the facts to be derived. Whether you approve of the leak or not, the method by which all that information was ordered and catalogued was absolutely extraordinary. They achieved in months what would otherwise have taken decades. They did this by combining generative AI, robotic process automation, and large language models with a relatively new technology at the time called knowledge graphs. As a result, journalists were able to track and analyze relationships between people, documents, and businesses, uncovering legal, illegal, and nefarious practices around the whole issue of offshore banking and money transfers. You may not be facing a task as big as this one, but we've done something similar with a contract reviewing project, a business needing to review client and supplier contracts issued by multiple offices to assess their risk exposure. We fed the documents through a digital reader and used AI to pull out key facts from every document, creating an instant database that allowed their new legal department to assess the risk and then work through their contracts in a logical way, starting with the highest risk. It also allowed them to assess as to where they needed to focus their training and their remediation activities for the future. That's business, but what about personal usage? What about helping you or your staff, making you more efficient, more creative? AI does raise many issues around job losses and machines taking over our lives. I ascribe to the feeling personally of excitement, tempered with caution. I use AI in my everyday life. The designer app in PowerPoint to help change my layout, ChatGPT and Bard are my unpaid intelligent interns helping me with research. I enjoy Netflix and Spotify content that is generated for me. Amazon helping me buy things I might need, LinkedIn telling me what I should read, and so on. Every other Instagram post gives me more AI-driven solutions that will transform my life. Some are brilliant, some are not. However, you may have heard of the term shadow IT. What we're seeing here is possibly shadow AI, your staff signing up for AI tools and possibly sharing your data through them. This is potentially an area of concern, and it should be on your radar, both from a data and a cost viewpoint. If you want to know more about this, pop into a comment and chat, and I'll talk about it, and I'll help you later. So how do we get AI sorted? Before we get to this bit, who am I and why would you listen to me? My name is Philip Milne. I'm the founder of a company called Intellidat. We've been going for 5 years. My premise back in 2018 was that AI was coming and it would revolutionize the way we do business. I saw it as being data-driven without human curation. Data identifying insights, systems in place to implement them. That was my vision back then, pre-pandemic. It still is today, though I am older and wiser as to what is needed to get to this point. Many of my potential clients in those days were simply not ready for AI. Many still struggle. So if that's you in part or whole, you are not alone. Many of us are struggling with similar issues, but they are surmountable, and not just by throwing money at them. However, now is the time to be addressing these issues, to get them sorted. Don't leave it much longer. As we've seen, AI comes in many forms, and it is already here. In fact, it's been around for quite a while. It's already changing the speed at which people make decisions and do business. There is a real danger that some good, sound businesses may get left behind. I trust, if you are here, that will not be one of yours. Before Intellidat, and yes, it is spelt with one L, I was one of the founders and the group operations director of a company known as the Concerta Group. I was known as God. I wore many hats: Chief Operating Officer, Information, Digital, also Health and Safety, Payroll, Operations, Delivery. We grew from a startup to a £40 million a year business and a successful sale to a trade competitor in 2017. In the early days, my partner was sales and marketing. My job was everything else, building the internal bridges to meet client expectations. And as the business grew and expanded and our needs changed, marketing, M&A brought integration issues, vertical expansion came with growing pains. Through it all, we had really good data and information. We were miles ahead of our competitors. Based on the concept of integrated business systems, all our technology spoke to the same database. We had excellent value for money and a real competitive advantage as it proved. The business management system, or the BMS as we called it, provided a backbone across the whole business, a mix of best of breed solutions, all focused on data, accurate real-time data, an accessible single source of truth. And as we sold the business, I was already planning how AI would be integrated in the future. I was planning to revolutionize our business forecasting with AI-led prediction. I was looking for more automation opportunities, using ML to cut costs. I wanted to improve the service levels that our clients enjoyed. I was looking to make our reporting even better and more intuitive. That was my background when I set up Intellidat, a play on the words intelligent data. The reality that I found was that our focus on data was not the norm. It was in fact quite unusual. Most companies that I began talking to spent far more money on technology, but invariably they had data quality issues. They were not data driven and they were certainly not AI ready. And I think it was really holding them back. There were similar issues to be found in all of them. A lack of information leadership, no technology strategy, disparate ad hoc systems. They lacked any way of measuring success in information. They had no grasp of how to measure ROI in this area. They were even struggling to understand what they should be doing better and how, and whether they were getting value for money. They were invariably spending lots of money, but they were not, I don't think, getting very much value for money. Have you any idea of how much your information data is costing you today? The technology, people, time, not on the communication things like Office 365, but on information. At Concerto, we had some 400 people, but ours was less than 1% of turnover, which I now realize was exceptionally good value. And as you will see soon, I've helped businesses where expenditure was in excess of 10% of turnover. That would have been a budget of £4 million per annum for me at Concerto. And that particular client told me that they could not afford anything decent. 16 times what I'd been allocated and had to fight for. There were lots of reasons why, and we're going to see something about it shortly. And how do we help at Intellidat? By helping you get your foundations up to speed by focusing on your business needs, mentoring your existing teams, building new ones, helping your business identify the business need and how you meet that need. We work in a variety of ways, light touch, maybe a steering role, driving as an interim leader, maybe a board advisor, mentor, and on occasion even as a consultant. We do not have lots of bodies to keep busy. We'll find experts together to meet your needs, and I work on your behalf to get the right deal at the right price. And what makes me so special? I've covered every business role at one time or another, so that means I have a very broad brush view on how all the teams can and should work together. Specifically, I'm an expert at identifying how to design and implement integrated business systems so they do their job, are user-friendly, efficient, scalable, and they promote best practice, whether that's off-the-shelf, software as a service, or building bespoke solutions. I practice disciplines like business system and solution architecture, process management and mining, 21st century reporting solutions, data governance, cybersecurity. However, I describe myself as a logical, pragmatic businessman who happens to talk techie. I understand how a business can take advantage of technology. I've done it all my working life, but I'm not profligate. IT, information, data, it's all part of the business machine. It's either helping achieve business goals, it is part of the P&L focus, or it needs to change. I'm focused on outcomes, efficiency, productivity, reporting, automation and forecasting that works and helps you achieve your aims. Every client gets an individual service tailored to your needs. How many of you heard of the term point solutions? It's a concept where you have an issue, maybe a single department. You identify the issue, research the solutions, issue RFIs and RFPs, go through an extensive beauty parade, select a solution, put it in place, and then find that it does not do everything that was promised, maybe exacerbates other issues that then come to the fore. This is what often happens when we try and solve individual issues with a point solution. It's never working in isolation, yet that is what effectively we're hoping is going to happen. Then you try and get additional value by linking that data to another system, and that in turn causes more problems. Maybe it needs more money to try and fix it, and so on and so forth. And why does this happen? probably because you're approaching the issue in isolation. You're not looking at your business as a set of joined up processes and systems. There is no 360-degree holistic review linked to the strategic objectives, the goals and KPIs of the business. AI is moving quickly. Can you afford to be left behind? Beyond the hype means dragging our enthusiasm or even our fears back to our business. Where do we need to improve? Where can AI make a difference? That starts with the business needs, and you'll hear a lot of this today. I'm shortly going to go through my framework and foundation behind being AI ready and data driven. Before that, I want to tell you a short story about a hypothetical business who may or may not have used Intellidat to get a handle on their information, processes, systems, and budgets. So this is a recent example. The client in particular were turning over about £30 million, and they were spending over 10% of that on information handling, £3 million. Earlier I asked if you had a figure. At Concerto, ours was £250,000 a year, or less than 1% of our turnover. They are in a regulated industry, but all departments were building their own systems. There was no clear leadership. They had 6 core technologies that they were trying to use: a CRM system, project management system, they had an accounts, an ERP system, they had a form of marketing automation, and a very expensive and very inefficient data stack, leading to a data lake and a data warehouse. They regarded themselves as digital leaders in their field. But, as is so often the case, they had lots of spreadsheet systems. Security issues with sharing and using and accessing data. There was a huge potential for fines. They had a BI DevOps team and an infrastructure team of over 35 people. They were supporting less than 300. In reality, they had no strategy or real plan. All their reports were what I called hand-cranked. They were slow, they had variable results. There was no confidence in what they said, and they were expensive to produce. They had data quality issues, largely because of something called silos. Departments were creating their own reports, Power BI, spreadsheets, or even manual ones, all sweat, picks and shovels. Everyone questioning what the report showed, where the data came from, and off-quoting, "but my report is different." Reports were painting pictures that department heads wanted to be seen. The leadership was struggling. They trusted mostly their financial data, but that is always out of date. It's so difficult to use to drive your business forward. So what happens? Well, we reviewed and we started an information strategy. We identified tons of room to reduce the technology costs. Also opportunities to reduce the costs of delivery, automate functions, improve communications, and reducing data risk. We were improving reporting at all levels. We're introducing dashboards that were aimed at their specific audiences that make reporting more useful and more business-centric. We worked on introducing a culture of data quality and awareness, and this was probably the most difficult bit. And how? Well, we started with leadership. It really helped us that we had buy-in to the process from top to bottom, and cultural change was embraced. It was an ongoing process, and it relies on input from all stakeholders, in this case led by the CEO. We created a business process model, how the business should work, and compared that against reality. We cut out variations and we improved the ideal. We articulated a master data structure. We started a simple glossary, but it very quickly upgraded this to what I call a business knowledge hub, which improved communications as well as adherence to regulations. We developed the genesis of integrated business systems, rationalized technology to save money, and improved data collaboration, data quality, mainly through reducing and then removing our data silos, seamless integration of technology, departments, and processes. We also moved towards a single data house, in this case based on Microsoft SQL solutions. We dropped Oracle and diverse open source solutions, which, while some were free, were actually increasing the cost of delivery, the data stack, so it wasn't really that efficient. And we recently upgraded to an AI-driven reporting solution to replace the legacy Power BI-based platform. We were looking to reduce complication, simplify where possible. We were moving to elegant solutions. And now I would describe them as data-driven, and they're definitely AI-ready. They really trust their data and they have great confidence in the information and insights. No one questions provenance, and if they do, they look it up in their business knowledge hub and then question it armed with greater knowledge. They're AI curious and adopters. They can see where AI is needed first. Initial projects were kept small and focused. We learned from each one and got better at finding and delivering solutions. And this took just over 2 years of very hard work and considerable pain. It was a big tanker that needed to be moved with care onto a new bearing. My part was fractional CIO/COO. I was reporting to the CEO, strategy, guiding and mentoring the teams most impacted. There was a lot of leadership in the early days, but people quickly picked up what was needed to be done. I relied on that support from the CEO and from the exec team. IntelliDAT cost less than a decent member of staff over those 2 years, but it delivered huge quantifiable value. You could argue they could have done it without us, probably right, but not in that time frame and certainly not achieving those outcomes. And it was not all down to IntelliDAT. 80% was internal, the way the leadership and the management bought in, and the staff at all levels bore with the pain. I thought we'd done our job really well. Maybe we could have charged more based on the value delivered. But now we're on an extended retainer, a couple of days per month. That's their choice, because the little tweaks we advise tend to save them wasting time and money and help them keep focus on their basics. We keep their toes to the line, so to speak, and help maintain their strategic oversight. I was astonished at the figure of 10% of turnover. With experience, I now found this is high but not unusual. We've got this cost down to just below 5% in 2 years, an annual saving of £1.5 million every year, before we factor in all the benefits. We could add in reduced cost of delivery, improved decision-making, agility and speed of reaction, improved service levels, etc., and there's still room for improvement. Do you think you could achieve similar results? This is not an extreme case. What would you save if you could cut your information and data costs by 50%? Not just once, but ongoing. In this case, £1.5 million of annual overhead saving every year. That's a lot of new clients to sign up. On top of this were the benefits in efficiency. They were less straightforward to quantify, but I think we're looking at operating staff costs down, stress down, mistakes down, even revenue up, as they're now charging 100% of overruns. I think these figures will be in the order of a further £1 million per annum, and all for the cost of a little over £100,000 over 2 years. They had no idea they could save any money, let alone so much, and nobody at the client was really thinking about AI back then. But I was. I always knew that additional hidden benefit, and now so do they. Might this be you? So now we're going to get to our foundations part, which I've talked about. What are the foundations to being AI ready? I'd like to park the issue of getting AI sorted while we address the foundations to being data-driven and AI ready. These are some of the issues and questions that I hear repeated. Are you spending ever more money on technology? What's working? What is not working? Are we pouring good money after bad? Our reporting is not good enough. Why not? Our systems are expensive, but always need to be better to deliver promised results. Are we getting value for money? Are we mired in spreadsheets? Spreadsheets, to me, tend to suggest a deficiency in your systems. Do people who work for us think we are professional or amateur? And that's quite a frightening question to ask yourself. If any of this resonates at all, you may need to do some of the foundation work before you make investment decisions into AI. I call this framework the information strategy, and to me it underpins your information needs, but it is also the basis of your AI strategy. Information that is based on data, intelligent data that gives us insights, not to be confused with the data that is expensive and of limited use. This is the most important cornerstone of your business strategy in the 21st century. You need to know where you are now. You need to know where you want to get to, what you need to succeed. Strategies obviously underpin plans, and it should be the basis for building all and any digital transformation plans. And the key message that I would have within that, focus on your data, not your technology. Where are you now? Start with your business, called business architecture. How do your departments and processes link together, from marketing through to finance? Process and system review and analyze it. How does your data flow? What is the data vision? You need to build out a master data structure. You need to understand how your current systems work, an overview of what is used and where. The ideal is to build a comprehensive business model. It's not as difficult as you think, and it will deliver real long-term value as you use it to get to know your business, how it works, warts and all. And where do you need to get to? You need to understand the frustration, the pinch points the business needs, resolve priorities and what needs to be done first. Get technology working for your business. Detail your ideal process path. Model your current systems on top. Identify the biggest weaknesses, plump low-hanging fruit. Prioritize changes and improvements according to defined priorities. I would love to know if any of you on here already have an information strategy. Maybe it's completed, in progress, thinking about it, never started. Feedback is always appreciated. Love to know more. So I'm going to quickly go through my 7 drivers of excellence. My first one, starting at the top there, information leadership and culture, business architecture, business glossary. I'm going to come back to these 3 shortly. I'm going to start here with our master data structure. Bear with me here. This is starting to get a bit technical, and it's as far as we're going to go. My experience has shown me that the leadership, the executive team, in fact, all managers and employees need to acknowledge that there is such a concept without having to understand it in detail. For instance, we all know that there is a chart of account that guides the finance team. We ask for printouts to tell us how a particular cost centre is doing. We might tell them what we need to know going forward, but we cannot change it ourselves. No department can declare UDI go their own way. That is down to your CFO and the finance team to manage. The same, I think, should be true with data. Data with value belongs to the business. It has value because it has context, not because there's lots of it. Having a recognised master data structure, or MDS, is where this starts. Integrated business systems view the business in a holistic 360-degree way. Every process, system and technology is interconnected so as to deliver value, seamless integration, no cutting and pasting or data transfers from one system to another. It's called collaboration. There are crucial issues to resolve. Silos, data captured and stored in department, process and technology silos. Complex systems which are not elegant. Business, system and solution architecture is about reducing complication, making systems logical, and I keep repeating it, elegant. Introducing automation, promoting best practice. Productivity through automation and efficiency, best practice through control and guidance, and finally, a user experience that people like. Happy users see their systems as their ally, not as an oppressor. The next consideration is reporting. Reporting should be is your reporting dependent on individuals, teams or departments? Data-driven means democratization. Dashboards that have use and can be used, designed for an audience, part of an SOP. Reports should be available to those who need them 24/7. Real-time, accurate data available to everyone. Allow your people to focus on deriving actionable insights, not getting the data, waiting on other people to produce the reports they need. And finally, and last but no means least, data governance. Data, if you get it right, can have value, but data always has potential liability. Legal responsibilities, cost of storage. It's essential to address governance, put the structures in place. Everyone will suffer a breach. They're probably happening to many of us right now. You must have the structures in place, not only to do the right thing, but also to be seen to be doing the right thing. And this is really important. I've listed my 7 key drivers, and I'm going to go over the first 3 now. Leadership. We talked about our leading key drivers, and leadership and culture was my step 1. Leadership, whether you have a COO, CIO, CDO, is much more than very important. I think it's absolutely vital, without which we get a very fragmented approach. Departments and process owners demanding designing and solutioning in isolation. Issues with naming conventions, storage, technology, accessibility, quality and responsibility. No clear direction maybe. Frustration, confusion, anxiety, cost, and more money needed. Whose problem is it? It's not someone else's problem to solve. Data quality belongs to everyone. We can see the benefits, take ownership of the issues. Often de facto leadership is from the IT department, but that tends to be very technology based. How do we resolve a problem? They're not looking at the business needs necessarily. So often when I first start working with a business, I can see if there's any clear vision. Just like an accountant or a marketeer or a sales leader, you can spot the signs. So early work is invariably evolving a vision and a strategy, aligned with and supporting the business strategy, cultivating a data-driven culture, promoting digital literacy, raise employee and leadership expectations of what information and technology can do. Beyond the spreadsheet mentality, data drives activities, not just a lag reporter, it drives prediction. Training, quite often start with a leadership course for the C-suite, opens eyes as to what can be expected. There's always going to be a lot to do. Everyone will expect their priorities to be met now, so you have to manage expectations, planning, prioritization and delivery. Everything is important. What do we need to do first? The business priorities. We must focus on our data vision, make sure we're getting the data you need today, anticipating the questions you will ask next year, aligning data and information to your business objectives. You need to be able to drive, manage and implement changes, own the privacy, security, bias and fairness issues, allocate resources according to business priorities. I think a leader shouldn't be associated with any department. They're accountable for success or failure, driving improvement, being able to drive change, but I don't think they should be associated with any particular department. In my experience, they need to be business first. They need to see data and technology as tools that deliver goals. Curiosity helps. Technical understanding helps because communication comes from that. Sitting on the exec board helps so that you can understand what is needed. Where are the priorities? Success is not measured in expenditure or technology choices or the size of the tech team. Measures of success and ROI are understood and they're in line with the business goals. And whether you build a model, a series of diagrams, even a roadmap or plan, you really need something that describes how your business should run. Just high level is better than nothing. Detailing the key bits is better still. The key bits to me are to focus on interfaces where departments, people, processes, even systems and technology hand over to each other. It'll help you to build a data flow. Where is key data first captured? Where else is it used? How does it get there? Model your risks, business and data, your mitigations and controls. I used to use whiteboards. Miro is still my go-to tool here, allied to Visio and Excel, depending on what the clients already use, until I discovered business process modeling tools. I've been searching for a tool that would help me articulate my vision, and this proved to be a godsend. If you're planning a digital transformation and you do not have a good model in place, I have to ask, how do you really know that what you're doing or why? Will it work? Will your business be transformed? Remember, 70% of digital transformations fail. That's a lot of time, money, and effort going to waste. And why do so many fail? I'm pretty confident I know why. I hope by this stage that you'll be getting a pretty good idea as well. If not, put a note in the chat and I will address it. I cannot encourage all of you enough to build a glossary. It needs to be easy to find and use and kept up to date. It could be a Google Sheet or a PDF on your intranet. Maybe you build it in one of these new no-code solutions like Notion or Coda, or even an Airtable or Endaku. Or you cut out the pain and invest in a business knowledge hub. If you save 1% of staff time, what's that? 1% of your gross annual staff budget, not even adding in the total cost of office technology expenses and support. It won't be a small figure, and it only gets bigger. If you're in a regulated industry like pharma or finance, the benefits are even greater. Do you need a glossary? Here's a quick test you can use. Have you got a definition of a customer? I often use this when I first get involved with a new client, getting examples from 4 different disciplines, say marketing, sales, finance, and even something from BI or analytics or the IT team. And even from 3 different levels within those disciplines, senior, middle, junior. So what is a customer? Define the customer. What are they called? How are they defined? How do we track them? What system? What is the key data that we use to track and count clients? Slightly more knowledge of data structure required here. And where do we find that data? Techie knowledge is required here. You might be surprised and frightened at the variance. If you then ask, how do I identify a regular client, a repeat client, a new client, even a VIP client? What do we need to know? You might repeat this with 2 or 3 KPIs, balanced preferably, not all financial. How can you measure something if you have more than one definition of that? Just wondering, while I was saying that, how many of you thought, client or customer, that is something we really need to define. There will be a few of you on here, there always are. So these are my top tips. We've covered our drivers of success from leadership modeling, glossary or knowledge hub. The best for you though depends on your business needs. Not every business has exactly the same needs and requirements. I always start with a clear leadership and culture, a vibrant business model, or a series of people, process, systems, and technology diagrams or plans, a glossary, even if you don't need a business knowledge hub, the key drivers of your strategy, knowing how your people, process, systems interact and how your data flows through the business. This data vision leading to your master data structure outline is better than nothing. The importance of integrated business systems to drive processes, simple, elegant, integrated. Reporting, all reports trusted and available 24/7. Reporting democracy, it's called. Governance and cybersecurity. Breaches are expensive and can be really damaging both to the business and to your wallets. KPIs for data and information. ROI, cost of delivery versus the value derived. How will you measure success or failure of your digital initiatives? Can you convert that into benefit and cost? How will you determine data value? How will you know if you're AI ready? How will you know where AI will help you? So the foundation is all about having the information that you need to decide where and how AI will help, and then what part of AI will help, or identifying issues that could be ameliorated by looking at AI-based solutions. If you have lots of issues to address, get your priorities sorted. Start small, show you can deliver success to the organization. Keep the scope focused. So now we're going to go on to the final part 3, the process. So how do you lay these foundations? What is the process that I think you should follow? It should be self-explanatory from what we've talked about so far, but if you have issues or questions or gaps, mention them in the chat. I will go through the whole chat line by line over the next day or so. If I can help anywhere, I will send you an answer. If I can adapt my presentation for the future, then that will also be a win, either for you coming back or for more people like yourselves. We've already been over these three primary drivers, and until you're happy that you've got these three covered, I think it's difficult to go any further. I always start by concentrating hard on these, particularly the business architecture, the modeling bit. However you deliver this, experience has always shown me that a proper model delivers better planning. Don't skimp on it. Good preparation underpins successful implementation. After all, it's not the technology choices that are most important, it's the way they are implemented that delivers the value. So this is leadership. What does this part involve? Someone with a business focus but talks techie, has experience at cultural change. I've said it, department free. They have to seem to represent the business. It could be the CEO, could be a COO, could be a chief digital officer. The ability and position to drive change likely will need to get people and culture to change, and they need to be above the politics, ideally reporting to the CEO only. An experience in architecture, they've got to be data focused, using data for business gain, enterprise business system solution architecture, ideally not frightened of bespoke solutions when you have to use them. Data collaboration experience, cybersecurity and resilience, data governance. It's not relevant to have tech or programming skills. You can buy those when you need them, but experience of leading technicians is a big bonus, especially if they talk the right language. And the type of role, you may not need or warrant a full-time leader. That's where we can come in and help. Pace of change can be slow. Digital transformation is a cultural shift. Big bang is sometimes needed, but iterative tends to be better. We need to be able to bring data team into the business circle. If you need help, this is a key area where we can step in. Not everyone needs a full-time resource here, but if you do need someone to focus on this area, it's so important to get the right leadership in place. Mistakes, delays are hugely damaging to digital implementation, as I'm sure many on here will already have experienced. I've certainly seen this myself. Do not underestimate the cost of inexperienced leadership or the value of experienced leadership. It could be in the role of a mentor or even a leader, providing support to an existing team. We do not have a fixed response to every potential client, as I've said. We need to understand what you need and then see if we can help. Because if we can't help, we'll certainly not suggest something inappropriate for either of us. I keep referring to this bit, knowing your own business. I'm told, or have been told recently, that this is the role of middle management, but that's not workable in the modern world. Agile businesses, and we all need to be agile, need to be able to move quickly. And as a leadership team, you will benefit from being able to look in detail at how your business really works, how your people, departments, roles, and individuals deliver your processes, what systems and technology are used to manage these processes, what and where is your risk exposure, how do you control and mitigate those risks, who is responsible and accountable for every potential risk. With a working model, you can identify weaknesses, pinch points, and set your priorities for change. You can use these models to simulate change. It's called digital twinning. That will highlight potential issues arising upstream or downstream from your proposed changes. Will you affect the current data flow, expose the business to new or even existing risks? We call this business process modeling. It's incredibly valuable, but it's not a quick fix. The faster sibling is called process mining, but getting this right makes for an asset of really good long-term value. You capture processes and sub-processes from across the business landscape, model how they relate to each other, to people and departments, with responsibility, accountability, consult and inform, to data, to technology, to risk, control and mitigation. Finding opportunities for automation, and building an inventory of all the processes within any group, department or organization. There are lots of built-in advantages to having a full business model outside of the AI question. Continuity and business resilience, strategic tracking and identifying which processes are driving the attainment of strategic goals. What is driving digital business and cultural change? Prioritize opportunities for RPA, automation, or indeed any digital transformation goals. You can relate this back to a full customer journey and identify the internal processes and interfaces that drive that customer journey. But as I said, it can take time. And this is where its powerful sibling can be brought into play, business process mining, and this is really powerful. If you're a digitally aware business, your processes are managed in digital systems, then it is highly probable that you can take full advantage of this technique. Every system that you use will generate a log or event file. Who did what and when? It's actually a goldmine of information, and most businesses never ever use it, till now. We use the log files from applicable systems to build a visual representation of what is going on in your business, how long it takes, how many variations there are in the process flow, and so on. The use cases will vary from business to business. We've seen it used to reduce price changes, optimize working capital requirements, reduce costs, identify potential productivity gains. What it does is highlight what people are actually doing, highlight gaps in operations and opportunities to bring value into reality. If you hang on after the Q&A session, I will play you a demo video at the end. But here is a quick case study. The client in question, 20 million turnover, 200 plus employees. They suspected they had problems in the supply chain and management of supplier orders. And for a proof of value scope, they wanted to look at the purchase to pay process, which involved getting data from 2 different IT systems. With a minimal time investment, the organization was able to uncover 3 key outcomes in process efficiency. And this took us 1 hour to get things going, 2 days gathering the data, a further day to extract and transform that data, a further 2 days to analyze and make some recommendations, and then a final hour for the presentation of the proof of value. And what did we find? Were issues in pro forma invoices. 20% of all orders were not contracted for projects with approximately 1 month lead time. Okay, not good. 776 unpaid invoices worth 400,000 euros, impacting nearly 80% of the main customers. Working capital. 55% of all invoices were paid before the payment deadline, meaning approximately 4.6 million euros of working capital was not being optimized. Prices. Margins reduced by 21% on average for 4 product groups, increasing project losses due to prices for 2 product groups. Rework order changes. 2,000 adjustments to orders per month, resulting in 60% rework and extending delivery times by approximately 2 weeks. As you can see there, though, process mining provides very quick insights. It does not need any investment in new infrastructure or even new technology. It's available as a pay-as-you-go tool. It can even be used to start a whole business modeling project. I have a demo video, as I've said, and I'll play it at the end after the Q&A. Back to our business glossary. This is my 3rd pillar. I now call this a business knowledge hub. Every time I start a new project, I will always start a new glossary. Everything that one does with digital and computers breaks down into ones and zeros. There is no room for variation, so everything, and I mean everything, needs to be tied down to a single definition. Terms, business-specific, industry, or even more general, including initials, acronyms, synonyms, even local variations. Why do this? To standardize your terminology, improve your communication and understanding, reduce communication errors. If you're looking to be data-driven and support your analytics, standardizing your metrics and KPI definitions and data sources is a vital first step. Over the years, to me, it has evolved into a knowledge hub. Your business glossary, but with bells and whistles on it. Easy to find, easy to use, available to all your staff. Your own personal Google for your business only. Save money, boost productivity. Share knowledge from all your staff. Boost productivity by delivering the correct key document, SOP or report ready for use. If your business is regulated, financial, medical or similar, it's like a very valuable piece of insurance. It helps you reduce your exposure to mistakes and fines and bad audit findings. For everyone, it is the best value, most simple and fastest productivity boost you can add to your business. If you want to see a short demo video to use, if you use the link dtp.im/BKH for Business Knowledge Hub, then you can find it there. Sorry, 1 video session. So getting AI sorted. Once you've got your foundation started and you know how your business works, you can get on with your AI strategy. How will AI help your business? It's more than just ChatGPT. There are many strands in this topic. Being AI ready will help transform the thoughts and ideas from your AI strategy into reality. Where are you inefficient? Can AI make you more efficient? Can it add creativity, content, automation, prediction and forecasting? You have to understand how AI can help you. You also need to be in a position where you can evaluate those ideas against your business model. You must prioritize what the business needs, not what some individuals think might be needed. Remember, AI may already be happening. Remember the issue of shadow AI. If you need help or advice with either strategy or implementation, do book a call. If you just want a generic chat, also book a call. Having sat through nearly an hour with me now, I'd love to know, does anyone on here really regard their business as being data-driven or AI-ready? Was there anything you did that I've not covered? I'd love to know what you think. What is the key takeaway that you've gathered from today? Is there one thing that you will do as a result of our time together? Or anything that you will stop doing or not do again? I'd love some feedback here if you can. Here's a little nugget for you. AI reporting is flying under the radar. If I don't have time, please ask me how outside of this. Reporting democracy used to mean you run your own standard reports, but if you wanted to answer a different question, you either had to go back to an analyst and wait for them to prioritize your work, or maybe you go to Power BI or Tableau or ClickUp or Excel yourself and work out how to get the data and model it yourself. Both took time, possibly a few hours, often longer, and then you have to test your result to see if you've made a mistake, and then maybe go back to the BI team. What about making it much more simple, cutting out the engineering bit and going straight to the analytics? There are a new breed of solutions available where you can type in what you want to know in natural language, English, and that turns your question into a graph or something appropriate. You ask questions like, what are the top 10 product lines in Europe this month? Or how do they compare to our US top 10 products? And you can change the question at will, a bit like you do with ChatGPT. And you can refine your question, change the wording, and then technology will return a different answer or drill down and see what you find behind the headlines. Analytical power for the business user. And you can save what you find for later use and add it to a private or a public dashboard or share it with colleagues for their commentary. Meanwhile, your analysts can do what they're actually paid for, analyze your data to drive better insights, not answer mundane questions about technology. But there is a caveat to that. It's your data. These new solutions are really clever, but they cannot turn a proverbial pig's ear into a silk purse. I'm really sorry. If you need humans to curate your current reporting process, you will still need humans to do this in the new world. So fix your data at source, store it logically so you do not need a science degree to ask the right questions. These new breed solutions are similar in price to the incumbents, but they are miles ahead in value. If you want a solution to look at, drop me an email or ask in the chat. My mission today was to educate and to share my knowledge framework steps. If you don't know where to start, have any questions, or just want some more advice, let's arrange a call. Process mining is a powerful tool that helps businesses discover, analyze, improve, and monitor their processes using data they already have in their everyday IT systems. This discipline focuses on transforming that information into an accurate representation of how processes are executed. This intelligence alerts the organization to bottlenecks, lack of conformance, and duration times of processes and their steps. It can then be used to increase efficiency, drive process improvements, ensure compliance, and identify automation opportunities. How is process mining performed? Using Process 360 Live, process data is automatically analyzed by harvesting system log events from existing technologies, systems, and applications. Once ingested, a dashboard is presented with summaries of key data, including the average new cases or transactions per day, and the number of variants, and unique patterns of workflow. In the analysis page, an event map is automatically created as a representation of the processes identified, along with statistics relating to processing and task duration. The case animation visualizes the flow of activities along the process path, quickly identifying slow paths or bottlenecks. The analysis can be filtered on a variety of factors. Currently, the data is being presented through the lens of average duration time. Another option filters this information through the lens of frequency to select percentage of cases and to view the relative frequency of each activity and path. BPMN diagrams from the design module of the Process 360 Live provide a basis for detecting non-compliant process executions. Process mining identifies steps in the paths both conforming and not conforming to process steps. Additional filtering provides insight into areas and variations of the process. By the application of filters, cases can be narrowed to specific time periods, or just cases belonging to a specific variant. The predictive analytics capability uses machine learning to identify the process steps over time. In the case of process monitoring, this information can be used to alert on the transaction processing time, identifying potential problems before they happen. Process mining provides valuable insights on the process performance in the past, the present with monitoring, and the future with predictive analytics. This information enables the process improvements and process conformance. To learn more about Process 360 Live process mining from iGraphics, contact Intelidat today.